today I'm going to be making Zacks standard soldier sword from Crisis Core. Basically this one just came to me while I was making the Buster sword, because like everyone has a Buster sword for Zack, but nobody has the basic soldier sword, so I decided to make it, because someone's better have it. First I'm going to be using a foam core, a bit of wood beading, and that's pretty much it. And some like black leather for wrapping the handle, but beyond that, that's it. So, right, first thing you gotta do to make this sword is get the foam board. Now in this case, my board isn't actually long enough, as it usually is, and I've had to masking tape the two together, and then I marked out the shape of the actual sword onto it. Now in this case, when you're doing this, or when you're making these, always put your seam so it alternates between layers, or you end up with a weak spot where the blade will actually break when you're carrying it. Then once you've done that, you cut out the first one, then you alternate directions by turning it round, and then draw around it, cut it again, and then the same again. As this one is going to be 3 layers thick, not much more, not anymore, I only need to have 2 alternates for the other sides. And of course I've marked out a position up the centre of it where the spine's going to go. And after this you then have to cut the handle section, or the guard, which I'm going to cut separately, but I'm going to cut that and put a recess into it, and then the blade's going to slide into that recess, which means that basically it saves me getting the extra bits going around here. It's just because I'm a bit on the lazy side. So next up, now that I've done the blades, is to do the guard. Then once I've made that, I'm going to cut out the section where the spine goes, which is basically the entire handle, so that bit was pointless apart from to measure it for the rest of them. And once I've done that, I will I've cut out all of the pieces for the guard, which are these. It's 5 thick, so I've got an extra one on top of the thickness of the blade, so it'll be able to slide up and inside. Now, in order to make this so it's an insert, get your blade and put it on top of your guard where you'd like it to rest. In my case, it's about here, and then draw around the blade as such. And don't forget, because of the taper on the blade, you're going to need to cut that basically out square, not at the correct angle, but you now have the basic shape to cut to be able to get the inserts that you need. So then you just cut along where you just drew, and then stick them all together so you get one big block that can slide onto the blade at the end. And that's about it for making the guard. Now I start sticking a lot. Right, I just stuck the spine inside the centre of the blade, and basically it's just cut out in the centre of the blade where it goes, and that's just to give it a little bit more rigidity than the foam core does, because when you bend foam core enough it just snaps, and once it's gone like that it becomes really floppy, whereas you'd have to actually snap that bit of wood in the centre. And I run it all the way up the handle so it can be done like that, but yeah, the handle didn't like it that much, but again, it survived and nothing broke, so okay, now basic shape of the sword is done as such, and now I have to put an edge on it. I'm going to go over this with a rough file, and then I'm just going to grind it down so it's one board thick in the centre, and then you get a slope off to that board, which is pretty much going to be the edge. But before I do that, I'm going to mark in how thick I think the edge is going to be. so I know to file back to that and just get the angle right so it looks better. So you just go on with a pencil and just scribble a line where you think the edge of the blade needs to go back to, and it just gives you a reference point, and also you can then end up with a straight edge instead of really wonky, because that does happen. I've now sliced it, or I've now put an edge on it, if you can see that, and basically I'm going to go over it with a bathroom sealer. It's basically this stuff, then I'm going to smooth it off, then just to give it a smooth edge, because at the moment it's really rough because I've gone over it with a file. And then once I'm done with that, and then once I'm done with that, I should just leave. Okay, Zacks sword has come back from painting, and now I'm just going to wrap the handle. Now usually you put a pommel on the back. If you want to do that, you could just cut circles out of foam core and stick it on, but I'm going to leave it blank because nobody's ever going to see that end, because this one's just decorative anyway. But again, just do 3 circles, do 3 layers fixed, stick them together, put them on, and paint them, and generally paint them with the rest of it if you want to do that. But now I'm just going to wrap the handle, because at the moment you can see the wood in it. So I'm going to do this. I'm going to get black leather and cut 2 strips, which are about a centimetre across, something like that, and a good decent length to them. Then cut 2 strips. Then I'm going to wrap this, starting off from the point there, then wrap around and just do that, just switching direction, switch which one's on top just because it looks good. Then wrap that all the way up. Now every 2 rotations I usually do, I put on a dab of hot glue just to make sure that it sticks and it doesn't slide around too much. And then that'll wrap the handle. The handle on it's now wrapped, as you can see there. Again, I haven't used this technique before, so it's a little bit it's quite a bit messy. But again, that's the thing of practice, it does get better. Now, with the blade on the edges, you can see some sections where it's delaminated for various reasons. Now at this point, delaminated is where they separate, where they shouldn't. Now in a real sword that would be absolutely disastrous, but in the case of a prop, I'm just going to put hot glue into the centre of it and squeeze it down, because that's the easiest way to fix it. Just give it one relatively straight edge, and then I have a finished sword.